Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer, best of us investors, and I've lost over $100,000 in the last 2 weeks in my portfolio, and I'm not contemplating jumping out of a window from the 30th floor as they did when the stock market crashed in the 30s. I actually think that this had to happen, and it's a good thing because the market does have to adjust. And I want to share with you exactly why I think it's a good thing and how I'm going to react to it and how I think you should react to it. It is being done. Tech is coming down as a result of increasing interest rates, increasing inflation, and then some basic supply chain problems, and then also the coronavirus. A lot of fear in the market. The VIX this is actually Thursday. The VIX is up 6% today, which is a measure of fear in the market, and that's understandable. But what I want to share with you, and this may become a bit repetitive, is that I think you and I right now are on the verge of the best investment opportunity in our history if our money is in the right place. And if we focus down to exactly what the market is all about as we are moving through the biggest change in our lives as a result of technology and disruption. And that technology and disruption is going to be found in specific areas. And if you look for it, you can benefit from it. So this is not financial advice. This is my opinion, and that is all it is. And if you find some merit in it, give the channel a like, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell down there so you're notified when I put out new videos, and then come be a part of our tribe. I think there's power in a tribe, and I'll explain to you later how you can become a part of it. But first, I'm not your financial advisor.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Grinkmeyer.
Okay, what I want to do in this video is give you a look at how I'm thinking and how I think you should look at this volatile market, because I think you're going to see it dip even further, particularly in the NASDAQ market, because it's had a healthy run. I mean, it's had a healthy run since, I guess, the April of 2020. It's been going straight up. And I think we need to understand why it's gone up, particularly the NASDAQ market, where the money's coming from to finance the run-up in the market, and what it's directed to. And it's directed to technology. If we look back all the way to the early 90s, technology has driven the market. That was the introduction of the internet. Truly, those of you who don't remember that, this was not possible in 1989. Your gaming was not possible. That is all changed in the last 40 years. And what is going to change in the next 10 years is going to make that look like no big deal. Okay, so what I want to do is show you a chart that I created to track the last 10 years and learn from the last 10 years so I can figure out where I want to put my money for the next 10 years. But what I want to also share with you is at the end of this chart I'm going to show you that it can happen in 2 years. And that's what I think is about to happen. So, okay, let's take a look at this chart that I put together on the NASDAQ market. This is my chart of the NASDAQ market. It's a 10-year chart. As you see, it goes back here to 2011. And this is the NASDAQ. And I want you to notice what you see here currently. This is a monthly chart What's happening in the NASDAQ? Does that look similar to what happened in February of 2020? So based on this, it may go into March. And this is, again, if it repeats, this is April. But the general trajectory is straight up. So am I upset about this going down? No, I'm not. I'm okay with it. Do I have a lot of cash? Am I prepared to buy into it? No. I'm where I want to be. But what I also want to point out is in this 10-year chart is this is the Dow. As you can see, it got about a 2x in the last 10 years. And this is the S&P. It got a 2.7x. And the NASDAQ, even with the correction now, it's got a 7x. So where do I want to be? I think that pretty much is evident. The other thing on this chart I want to show you is our national debt, because it takes liquidity to propel the stock market. As I said, it has little or nothing to do with interest rates and inflation. On the short term, it does. But if we look at it on a 10-year perspective, it really doesn't play into this. This is technology, this is innovation, and this is change, and it has to be financed. And so our national debt in 2011 was 14 trillion. And as you can see, it's gone up as a result of the need for more money to finance the growth of our economy. And it's now at 29.7. If you'll divide, you'll see that's more than doubled. Our national debt has more than doubled over the last 10 years. Do I have any belief that it will not repeat itself and double, and that will become somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 trillion by 2031? Yes, I fully expect that will happen. So that gives me some understanding of where I want to invest. Now, why has the NASDAQ so outperformed the Dow and the S&P 500? And it's technology. What is technology all about? Technology is all about change. So as things are changing, the smaller NASDAQ companies are instituting or initiating that change. So they are growing substantially faster than the Dow and the S&P. Now, what I want to do then is say, drill down a little bit closer and try to determine who made up this big change. And so I went back and found a company that actually IPO'd in 2010 to see if they had some part of it. Okay, as I add it to my chart and give you some perspective, here we are. This is again the NASDAQ, this is the S&P 500, and this is the Dow. This is Nvidia. This is Nvidia, who came on the market right around 2010. And you can see if I would have, we were very happy with our 7x on the NASDAQ, but this goes a little bit further. As you can see, that gives us about a 45x. So Nvidia has been a huge participant, particularly in the last 2 years in this change. Now let me add another stock that we can say contributed to the NASDAQ's change. Now this is our graph, same graph, and notice how these lines have flattened out. This is Tesla. And here we see we've got even a greater change, a 219x change. Again, happening within the last, just as in Nvidia, within the last 2 years. So my question is, what is going to be our opportunities in the next 2 to 5 years to emulate what happened with Nvidia and Tesla? And I think it's easy to figure out when you basically say, what is the change that is going to facilitate that kind of growth. And again, I would ask you to go back to 2019 and ask yourself, who was in the news? Who was making the news on a regular basis? Well, it was Tesla. It was Elon Musk. It was our recognition that global warming was big contributor was the ICE automobile, the internal combustion engine. And so we saw Elon come in and say, I'm going to change that. We saw 5G struggling to get started, but needing more artificial intelligence in chips. And Nvidia raised her hand and said, we can take care of that. Well, again, what is the change of today? It's healthcare. It's what's on the news. And I know I'm getting repetitive about this, but I think it's such an opportunity. And again, I would merely ask you, if you had the opportunity, knowing what you know today, to have invested in 2019, in January of 2019, in Tesla and Nvidia, would you do it? Yeah, you would. I'm sure you would. A $10,000 investment in Tesla would have made you a millionaire. The opportunity is here again. That's what I'm here to the message to deliver to you. So let's talk a little bit more about it. So I focused on Nvidia and Tesla. I've done a study that goes, if you want to see some other videos that I've done where I've looked at Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon and their growth. But what I want to show you now is an Excel spreadsheet that I put together on the two stocks we just looked at, and that was Nvidia and Tesla. And what I proposed was that when they IPO'd, I was astute enough to put $10,000 in each one of them, and what that $10,000 turned into. But more importantly, the trials and tribulations that they went through to get to where they are now. So let's look at this Excel spreadsheet. As you see, Nvidia became a IPO in 2000, and it started out two excellent years. With a 40% increase in price and followed by a 300% increase in price, and then an 83% drop in value. So my $10,000 jumped to $56,000, $57,000, rounding it up. And then in 1 year, it went below my initial investment, just down to $9,800. And then it caught on. And again, though, you can see I got out down here in 2006, I got up, or 2007, I got up to almost 87,000. And then it dropped again down to 20,000. Why is that? It is because it is an innovative company and it isn't making profits. And the market looks at it and says, I don't want any part of it. Jim Cramer just this morning said on TV, I only want companies that are making money. Well, Nvidia wasn't making money back in 2000 to 2008. And again, we had a panic in 2008 over the real estate crisis. Did that have anything whatsoever to do with semiconductor chips? No, but it took Nvidia down 78%. It came right back up to 131, but then again, it came down 18. And we can see it fought its way all the way up to currently where my $10,000 would be worth $3.6 million. So my message is here, if you can figure out the change, if you would have read Cathie Wood's book, The Big Nine, back in 2000, or not Kathy Woods, excuse me, Amy Webb's book, you would have learned about artificial intelligence, and you would have found out who is going to be the leader in artificial intelligence, and you might have found Nvidia. Okay? I became aware of it because a young man that I know went to work for him. And at that point, it was a gaming stock. So then let's look at the same channel or the same path that Tesla followed, or 2010. And as you can see, it wasn't a straight up shot. It grew pretty much healthy, got a good bump in 2013, lost 11% in 2016, didn't have as rough a path as Nvidia, but your $10,000 would be now worth just shy of $2 million. So my message is these two companies were not driven by interest rates or inflation or employment numbers. They were driven by change, innovation, the future. We have yet to reach the future of Nvidia because they are going to be a major player in the metaverse. We only, I believe, in the US, we're only selling somewhere around 3% of the autos sold are electric vehicles. So Tesla is still in its infancy. My concern is it's also going to gain some competition, but that's another video. So my question to you is, what is the change equivalent to artificial intelligence? What is the change equivalent to electric vehicles that is upon us today that can give us this kind of return on our investment of $10,000? I believe it's healthcare. I believe, and again, I know I'm repetitive here, and you've heard this before if you've been on my channel, but a lot of people don't get it on the first take. If you have, and you've invested in this, and you've come to my portfolio at our Discord, and you see what I own, and you believe that what I'm saying makes sense, then this is your ticket to become a multimillionaire. The change is in healthcare. Again, repetitive. Just turn on the news tonight, and whoever's news you watch, whatever network you watch, note what the first story is about. And think about what has the first story been about for the last 2 years. It's been the coronavirus. What is the coronavirus about? It's about health care. It's about the learnings that we've acquired on genome sequencing and protein sequencing, and how we're using Nvidia's and other people's artificial intelligence chips to find the cures for the diseases that kill us or make us deadly sick through using artificial intelligence. And so I have built a portfolio of roughly 13 stocks to cover the base of the artificial intelligence or the electric vehicles of the next 5 years. And in there, I am confident I've got a $3 million potential payout within my 14 stocks. Okay? I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of reading. It started with David Sinclair's book on lifespan. This gave me tremendous hope. I read the book and he told me if we could take these diseases out of our lives that kill us, we could live forever, at least until the parts wore out. And that got me to reading additional books, which brought me into the genome sequencing and that's the crack of creation. And right about then, the author of this book, Jennifer Doudna, and a compatriot, Emmanuel Carpentier, won the Nobel Peace Prize for Science on their work in CRISPR. And then I said, I have to learn more about what CRISPR is all about. And I read what I call the Bible of healthcare of the future, and that is the Code Breaker. And I'm convinced that I have, and I'm also, I was going to say, if I live long enough, I'm going to have a multi-million-dollar portfolio. I've at one point said, I think I have $260,000 invested in this space, that it'll turn into 260 million. You saw the growth of these two stocks, Nvidia and Tesla, answering the demand of what is the change that we need in our country. And you saw their growth. It's going to happen again. And if you don't believe me, do yourself a favor and watch tonight's evening news. And I have no influence on it. And see what the first story is. See if it's about the insurrection on the Capitol, if it's about interest rates, if it's about inflation, if it's about some crazy person driving a car down the street and killing people. See what it is. I'm willing to bet it's about the coronavirus, and it's about our change, our realization that this can never happen again. It is equivalent to World War II. This can never happen again. And World War II changed our world more than anything in preceding it. But this is bigger than World War II because it hit every economy. It hit every household. And it just blatantly screamed out, our healthcare system is broken. If we don't get it fixed, we all could be dead within 2 years of the next pandemic. So it will be fixed. I have confidence. I hope you have confidence. And if you want to be a part of this movement, if you want to become a multimillionaire, just go to Best of Us Investors. Give me your email address and your name, and I'll send you an invitation to our Discord. And that's where we meet. That's where we talk every Friday at 3 o'clock. We get on a Zoom call and we say, what do you think's going to happen next week? Talk to you again tomorrow.